Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project and Magnetic Reversal News, bringing you a magnetic excursion update Tuesday, February 25th, 10 p.m. Mountain Time, 2025. A rare celestial event is unfolding this week as 7 planets, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune, align in a breathtaking display across the night sky. We'll cover it all and much more, but keep calm. It's boom time. Thousands face power outages as strong winds topple trees across the Pacific Northwest. Cleanup efforts are underway after thousands lost power as strong winds brought down trees and power lines across the Northwest. Earlier today, when that headline came out, there were over 100,000 without power in Washington state. Let's refresh this and see if there's any improvement. Good news, Washington state, the only critical power outage state now listed with just 61,000 plus without power. Hopefully that improves by the morning. 14 inches of fresh snow means a new leader in the race to be Colorado's snowiest resort of the season. And it certainly isn't Wolf Creek. We're last on the list. We are usually the most snow in Colorado. And, well, we are lagging behind by over 100 inches. Winter Park now takes over with 259 inches for the season. And, well, go up to Winter Park or Copper and get the POW, because it certainly ain't here. More snow is coming in the forecast. A quick look at the snowfall equivalent in the basins across the West. You can see everybody's looking good except us down here in the South. We happen to be in one of the tinier basins, the Upper San Juan, just 63% of normal. Well, but there is good news. This isn't the lowest. Actually, I think back in 2018. Yeah, look at that red line I just lit up. We were living here during that year. We're going to have several more bumps up here in March, which is the month where we get the most snow overall. So not the worst season in the last, let's say, decade or so, but one of the weakest. We are going to get some snow in the south here through March, so maybe some of these numbers will come up. Otherwise, we could have a very bad wildfire season for many regions. The worst basin, just 6% of normal, is currently the northern Oregon coast. Holy macaroni. Absolutely no precipitation all winter. And here's the full forecast. Dense fog near the Gulf Coast. A clipper system from the Midwest into the Great Lakes. Along the Gulf Coast, dense fog will make traveling hazardous into the morning, as a clipper system will bring scattered rain and snow showers from the Midwest to the Appalachians and interior through the next couple of days. But overall, a very weak weather pattern for the next few days. Almost nothing happening. And let's just move it through here. 3, 6, tomorrow, there is that clipper that could hit the Northeast with a little bit of rain and snow, but nothing significant. And then, well, it's quite a weak weather pattern for days until we hit March. Once we're in March, it's going to be storm after storm barreling through here, and we're going to see some significant numbers, some nor'easters maybe even some storms dipping down into the mid-Atlantic here. And then, take a look at this on the models. Saturday, March 8th, a atmospheric river enters the west and remains for 4 days. It could bring 10 feet of snow to the Sierras. We're talking heavy Sierra cement, crushed buildings, perhaps. Something big is afoot here in the beginning of March. Holy macaroni. Buckle up, Buttercup. Ding, ding, it's spring. Shut up, Al. Get in your hole. Al Gore says I'm making it all up. 5 Palestinian infants die from extreme cold amid Israeli siege. Israel continues to delay enter of shelter aid as stipulated in the ceasefire agreement, and people are freezing to death. In a global warming world, they're freezing in Palestine. Can you believe it? I can't. Seismic update. Couple big rumblers to talk about with aftershocks. We had a 6.1 in Modisi, Indonesia. Some moderately large activity off the coast here, 5.3 in McNeil, Canada. I'm sure there's many YouTubers fear-mongering about that one. That's normal activity on that fault zone. Overall, low-level activity worldwide, except in the Caribbean, where we have a seismic swarm occurring now in a very dangerous place. There are cliffs here that can form major tsunamis. So hopefully, the 5.9 in near Punta Cana in the Dominican Republic is over. Hopefully, this is not a precursor. We've got good news to report on. The seismic swarm at Santorini is coming to an end. The last 7 days shows a precipitous drop-off. You're looking at the last 14 days, which is good news and may be leaning towards the fact that there will be no eruption at Santorini and this event is over. So the magma wasn't placed. We may have to wait till the next event for an eruption. Same goes at Campi Flegrei. Nothing happening in the last 4 days. Seismic swarm is over. But if we look at the last 14 days, you can see that area in question, which was rattling some nerves. If we take a look at the last year, we had a seismic swarm about a year ago, similar to the one we just had. This one was more concentrated in just a week of activity. So we're going to keep a close eye on this, as it appears as if Campi Flegrei is recharging and an eruption is imminent. Not in the next few days or months, but sometime soon, certainly in our lifetimes. The rest of the volcanoes erupting today include White Island to 5,000 feet. We reported on the alert level being raised to orange yesterday. Sant'Agito, no volcanic ash today. Etna, more lava returns. As we can see, probably some Strombolian activity at the summit, which will result in another lava flow. Ibu on the list today. Volcanic ash reported. Reventador, 14,000 feet. Nevado de Ruiz, 25,000. Liwatobi, puffing and passing. No numbers there. Semeru, not puffing today at all. Swanashima to 6,000 feet. Popo to 21,000 today. White Island, intermittent low-level eruptions continue. I don't see any smoke stringers there. Telika on the list, 4,000-foot puff. Liwatobi to 8,000. Sant'Agito to 13,000. Ibu, no numbers there. 1750Z, yeah, 17,005 maybe. Sangay to 20,000 feet. Liwatobi to 6,000 feet. Semeru, who knew? Now you do. 15,000-foot puff today. Liwatobi to 14,000. White Island continues its intermittent low-level eruption. Holy macaroni. 14,000 foot for Reventador will wrap up the list of erupting volcanoes today. Hey, hey. Space weather has gotten spicy, and we've got a coronal hole that will couple with Earth with its plasma in the next 48 hours. Could send KP up to 5, and that would mean geomagnetic storm. But the big story are 2 long-duration flares off the backside of the sun. The most recent one created a CME, and this was actually a departing region. Active region 3998, an M3.6 solar flare was detected, and a CME was produced. And it has now been modeled, and it's not going to hit us, according to the WSA Enlil spiral. Here's Earth, but what is going to hit us is that coronal hole stream with a spike, maybe, in activity here on the 28th. Don't miss it. A rare 7-planet alignment will light up the night sky this week. What a tweak. Get out and look up. A rare celestial event unfolding this week as 7 planets align in a breathtaking display across the night sky. We're talking Mercury, Venus, Jupiter, Mars, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. Now, Neptune you can't see with the naked eye, so you're going to need some binocs for that one. But the cosmos is, in fact, putting on a show, and stargazers are in for a treat this week. A rare 7-planet alignment will grace the night sky, offering breathtaking celestial display. The alignment will be visible on the evening of February 28th, offering a breathtaking view of our solar system's celestial mechanics in action. Let's Open up this image and blow it up. This is what the night sky will look like. Saturn will be on the horizon at sunset, then Mercury. Neptune, Venus is going to be the easy one to pick out. It's what everyone is fear-mongering about on the interweb, saying a new star in the west has emerged, because people are just dumb. So when the sun sets, that bright thing in the west, that's Venus. And so from there, you can look for everything else. You look to the left for Uranus. You always look left for Uranus. And then Jupiter is the second brightest object in the sky after Venus. Easy to spot. Look left of Jupiter, and the only red dot over there is going to be Mars. All in a line, so to speak. Now, more space weather. Tony Phillips over at spaceweather.com claiming we need NOAA. It's only a matter of time that a Carrington event or a Miyake event will hit Earth. These people don't do any research at all. This guy is a plasma physicist, and he didn't even do any research before he posted this stupid garbage. If he did any research, he would learn that, well, Donald Trump is only cutting climate change, nothing else, not space weather. He's well aware of Carrington events and Miyake events, and he's well aware that the CO2 fraud needs to be chopped. And many employees are bracing for potential staff cuts at NOAA, as well as slashes to the funding that supports the science with the agency. But many people don't know what is being slashed, and they're up in arms. Well, they're going to be slashing anything related to fake climate change, and that's it. Because we still need disaster mitigation, weather forecasting, and space weather. So get over it, Tony. You're clueless. NASA is set to launch coverage for missions studying cosmic origins and the sun. NASA knows what's going on, and so do the powers that be. The new mission, NASA's Sphere-X, is situated on a work stand here ahead of pre-launch operations at the Astrotech Processing Facility in Vandenberg Space Force Base in California. NASA is going to provide live coverage of the pre-launch and launch activities of Sphere-X, which is called the spectrophotometer for the history of the universe, epoch of reionization, and ISIS Explorer. That is a mouthful. This is the agency's newest space telescope, and it will lift off with another NASA mission, Polarimeter, to unify the corona and heliosphere, or PUNCH, which will study the sun's solar wind. There you go. And guess what? It's going to go up on a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket, because NASA doesn't know how to build rockets, but Elon Musk does. Now, this is an interesting one. Fossil footprints reveal what may be the oldest known handcarts. Do you see these grooves near the prints? Well, in a paper coming out just a little bit ago, the Ethnology of White Sands, New Mexico, linear traces and human footprints, evidence of transport technology, is quite a good read. Now, what they're suggesting is 22 or 23,000 years ago, Native Americans were using travois, or sledges, a type of cart that you drag with long sticks, because once you get an object moving, it's easy to keep it moving. So they were just dragging these heavy weights on these 20-foot long poles behind their backs, called sledges. And they have discovered these drag marks and human footprints 22,000 years ago on several sites now at White Sands National Park in New Mexico. And Ransom Godwin, who lives down there, has invited me to this site with him, and we'll probably go down there and maybe try to find some of these prints and some of these cart tracks. That would be a fantastic video. The only problem is no one's going to watch it. All the links will be below. And if you want to know why all these cuts are happening to science, is because science has become Scientology, scientism, absolute garbage. It's not science. Just like these articles coming out today, Mars was once a vacation-style beach planet, according to Chinese rover scans. Absolute clickbait, nonsense, non-science, nonsense. China's Zhurong rover didn't find evidence of an ancient shoreline. It found evidence of cross-bedding in sediments. That's all. They could be put there any number of ways, including electrical discharge, winds, on and on. Nothing has to be related with the beach. Because first of all, no fossils have been found on Mars of beach creatures, let's say. Not even worm burrows, for goodness sakes. And in the actual paper, right below in the abstract, in the second sentence, it says, the ocean hypothesis remains controversial due to lack of conclusive evidence. Hello? Garbage. All the science being funded is garbage. Period. More garbage coming up. People are reporting on Starlink as UFOs exiting a volcano. I can't even make it up. It's insanity. It would take you 5 seconds to do your due diligence if you're an actual researcher to figure out that this is not aliens, not spacecraft, but an array of Starlink satellites moving behind Popocatépetl. We'll get to the video in just a minute here. All right, let's take a look at the supposed UFOs exiting Popocatépetl back last summer in August. The only problem is, see, these are stars, and these are right up there with the stars. Yeah, that's because it is a Starlink satellite array moving across central Mexico on that evening. And the way that the camera works here, it takes a long duration shot every few seconds. It's not really video footage, and then they weave it together. So it makes each Starlink satellite look like a streak in the sky because that's the long exposure. And we've all seen Starlink. It's about, 10, 20, 30 dots moving across the sky. Yeah, that's because this is a Starlink array that has been cross-referenced and corroborated to this exact moment, at this exact position, at this exact time. Yet, for over 8 months, thousands of videos have been produced claiming that these are UFOs shooting out of an erupting volcano. So if you ever wondered what you're reading on the internet is real or not, yeah, it's fake. It's all fake. Everybody is a fraud for the most part, especially on Twitter. There are millions of people claiming that chemtrails are cloud seeding, and they're just dumb people that don't know anything about what they're talking about, which is why you watch my channel, so that we can clear up some of the mysteries. Like the fact that this is not rod-shaped UFOs shooting out of a volcano. But there are a lot of rod-shaped people that think that. You want to talk about some real science in headlines? Frozen worm comes back to life after 46,000 years. Leah and I covered this about a year ago on Magnetic Reversal News and our radio show. This is the oldest reanimation we know of. It's a nematode that, after it was harvested from permanently frozen permafrost in the Arctic, which was permanently frozen for 46,000 years, meaning the earth doesn't tilt or any of that garbage, it came back to life in a petri dish, for goodness sakes. So help us out. Subscribe to Magnetic Reversal News on Rumble and support the channel. And learn about real science and scientific inquiry. That's what Lee and I do here. We're both scientists. And we just posted an expose I think you might be interested in. The Dalton Minimum Cosmic Catastrophe, 1811 and 12 New Madrid earthquakes, and the 1850 eruption of Tambora. All in a very short period of time, and definitely a boom to the sun. Lee and I will be on Quite Frankly tomorrow night live, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. We are the next guest scheduled from 7 and 9 o'clock. We will probably be on starting at around 7:30 and last throughout the show. If you don't know Quite Frankly, he's got a YouTube channel and he's got a very popular podcast on all the podcasting platforms. So come on over, subscribe to Quite Frankly, and we will maybe have the rebroadcast on one of our channels. I don't know how he works it, but we'll certainly be on his show tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And one other thing, I don't know if you've seen the executive order that was signed today, but I'm going to show it to you now. Quite impressive.
This executive order is the fuck around and find out order, also known as the FAFO. This order is for everyone who fucked around and will now find out.
Hold it. This is a good one. Is everybody listening?
And if you follow us over at X Oppenheimer Ranch Project at Diamond the Dave, you'll get some of these amazing videos all day. And that's a boom to knowledge. Please share the video. We're shadow banned on YouTube. They hate us because we tell the truth. We don't propagandize. Hit the thumbs up. It helps with the Al Gore rhythm. Become a Patreon. Support the work we do with a small payment like $1 a month and watch all of our podcasts commercial free. Be safe. We love you. And that is a boom.